What's up, guys? We are back at the Gritter Range, and this is day 2 with Scott Jedlinski, the modern samurai. And today we're back on the red dot. So we just got our first few rounds off. We did some shooting from the 3-yard line, and we were talking about essentially using the back plate or your glass or the top of the glass as your aim point whenever you are that close range. For me, with iron sights, that's what I learned with defensive shooting. So the back plate for me was what I was taught to use and what I was comfortable with, and that worked the best for me. So it was cool to see that that works with red dot too. I'm excited what we're gonna do today. We're gonna do a lot more shooting. Gotta reload. Let's get into it.
So this is the 3 and 2 drill, right? What is the 3 and 2 drill? You're 3 yards, you're gonna draw 3 rounds anywhere in the A zone. Don't care, right? After that, your eyes are gonna go to the 3x5, okay? And it will just naturally go to the middle because that's the way humans are built, okay? When I move to the 3x5 though, what's the first thing that moves? Eyes, good. After the 3rd round, right, if you're looking at the middle of that, you're gonna catch the dot in your peripheral right about the neckline, right around there, okay? That's when we start manipulating the trigger, depending on how quickly we wanna shoot. When it passes this bottom line, that's where you pull the trigger, but then the round might land somewhere near the middle. What's the reason for that difference, that delta between where you pulled the trigger and where the bullet finally landed? Why does that happen? You're still in motion, and a fancy word for still in motion is momentum, right? And from that lesson of momentum, if I pull the trigger in the middle, where's that round potentially gonna land? High. And in this drill, what's the messed up thing about missing high? You literally had to go past the entire target to get there, okay? And that doesn't make sense. We've sometimes have got to get out of the mindset of the middle of the middle of the middle and instead shoot your highest margin of error, okay? If I pull the trigger here, I have a 3-inch margin of error. If I pull it here, I have a 1.5-inch margin of error, making my life harder, and that don't make no sense, okay? I'm gonna demo this for you twice, right? First one, gun's gonna be out, and we're gonna go through each of the pace or rhythms, okay? Because there's another word I don't like, and that's cadence, right? When we teach cadence, right, we always add this alphanumeric value to it, right? 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, right? I think all we teach the student is, no matter where your sights are on that last eye, full send. Instead, I like pace or rhythm. And what determines your pace or rhythm? If you don't know an answer to one of my questions and you can't figure it out on that board over there, right, you got a 95% confidence rate that the answer is difficulty of target. The first one's gonna sound like that. The rise, fall, float, rise, fall. It'll sound like this. Right? Rise and fall, that pause in the middle is the float. It will look like this. Next one, if it's there, pull the trigger, let it float up. If it's there, pull the trigger, will sound like this. Right? First 3, fairly quick because I'm imitating a mediumly difficult target. The last 2 are more careful than the first 3 because on the last 2 I have a more difficult target. Now, why do I say I use the word difficult versus size and distance? Because it's not a 1-to-1 relationship, guys, right? What's harder to hit? A 1-inch square at 10 yards or a full-size Connex trailer at 100? What's harder to hit? I would say the 1-inch square, but wait a minute, the trailer's so far away. Yeah, but because it's so big, right? Yeah, exactly. Anywhere on there, right? So that's why I don't say just size or distance, right? I say difficulty of target so that you can extrapolate. What's another part of difficult target that is beyond just size, distance, or risk? Your perceived level of skill, okay? Your perceived level of skill, okay? So, and only you can manage that, all right? So again, okay, should look like this, guys. Find the last one. If it's there, hammer it, drive neckline. If it's there, hammer it, should sound like this. 5 even shots, because the drive to the neckline makes the splits and the transition sound about the same. What do you have right now that you can manipulate that matches those pace and rhythms based on your perception of the difficulty of the target? Your manipulation of grip, sights, trigger, right? And from that knowledge, where does aiming begin? in the holster, right? What is your first visual confirmation? Right about the 80, right? And then the actuation is at the 100. The hardest thing to do, but that will make you the most successful, is being loyal to your decision about the difficulty of the target and how to manipulate it on demand. Fall, rise, fall, float, rise, fall. Stand by. Next one, if it's there, hammer it. Drive it to the next line. If it's there, hammer it. Stand by. Next one, if it's there, pull the trigger, let it float up. If it's there, pull the trigger. Stand by. Average split, we'll say about 43, okay? Brian, you and I are on the same squad. I walk up to you and I go, bruh, I got a 43 split. What you know about that? What would you say to me?
Not anything too nice.
Yeah, guys, when I'm between 2016 and 2019-ish, I was competing 4 to 5 times a month. I would say, get the away from me in case that's contagious, right? Most of you found me through social media, right? IG, YouTube. What if I made a video that said the path to 42 splits? Would you watch it? Sure you would. You troll the out of me. You'd be like, I thought this dude was cool. He's an idiot, right? But how did I beat a national standard by 0.35, right? On a goal set by an absolute American hero meat eater. How did I do that? Get out of the holster, right? I think it was, what did I say, a 123 or something like that? Yeah, right? Which you guys probably thought was slow because you see me do other draws and stuff like that. But a 120 draw, right? What's my class standard? 125, right? So here's the thing about why the draw is the low-hanging fruit, and we need to always be concentrating on getting better at it, or at least keeping it consistent, right? Because when the draw is part of the solution and you have a good draw, right, it affords you the time to decide if you need to do careful, precise shots, right, or fast shots based on the difficulty of the target. But if the draw is part of the solution and you don't have a good draw, then you file down the slippery slope of trying to steal back time in the splits. And if that is beyond your skill set, it never works out. It never works out, right? Because you're going to follow up, right? You're going to follow up that 16 split with a 80, right? Or you're not going to be able to stop when you need to stop, okay? So the draw is always the low-hanging fruit. It will set you up for success, okay? Cool. Next one, if it's there, pull the trigger, let it float up. If it's there, pull the trigger. That should be between 2 and 2.5 if I do it correctly. Okay. 2, 3, 2. So right in between 2 and 2.5, like I said, all right? So the details on that. Draw, 122. All right, not my fastest one, but I think it was still about a 10th faster than the other one, right? Split, 21, 15, floating up, right? Came out to 40, and then finally letting it fall back down was about a 34. We'll average that out. If we take out the 15 split, we can average that out to about a 25, right? The path to 25 splits, anybody care about that video? No, because you can all do it. I just synced it in the pace and rhythm drill, right? But how did I beat that, right, with still pretty casual splits? 2 components. The draw was quicker, and I didn't waste time in the transition, okay? So the way you guys are losing a lot of time is I'm seeing you guys do this. You're going 1, 2, 3, 4th sight picture, no bang. You look around to see if I'm watching you, and then you fake the float up, okay? Why do we do that? Why are we getting a 4th sight picture on the body? That's what you're told to do. For example, 3 rounds, how many sight pictures? When you're done. That's the thing we don't describe. We have this thing called follow through, and we do a horrible job of explaining it because it's not right. Where does the concept of follow through originally come from? Sports, right? We talked about throwing a ball, right? He said he released it here, but if he didn't follow through with his arm, where's that ball going to go? Straight up or straight down, depending on the orientation. When you hit that ball, if you make contact here, but don't follow through, right? It's called a bunt, right? Tennis, basketball, even something as lame as golf, man. If you don't follow through, you're going to shank that, right? Cool. So when we talk about sports, what are we talking about? We're talking about impacting the projectile that we're trying to manipulate right now, right? We talk about follow through and shooting. Are we talking about the thing we're doing right now or the thing that we already did? The thing we already did. And in the rest of your own life, in the rest of your life, when you talk about checking the thing you already did, it's called checking your work. When you usually check your work, when do you check your work? When does that usually happen, right? When you're done. Am I done after the third round? So why am I checking my work? When should you check your work? If you want to get a 6-sight picture in the head, you knock yourself out because you're done, right? Nobody writes the report in the middle of the investigation. Every single part of your life, you check your work when you're done. Do it when you shoot. Now, the higher level guy calls their shots, right? So they're almost doing it simultaneously, but they never get an extra sight picture when it is unnecessary. Cool? What's the high hanging fruit? Splits, all right? You have to decide who you are. Okay? And the only way to do that is thousands and thousands of rounds downrange. Okay? That's why it's the high hanging fruit. Okay? When we talk about draws, we're talking about halves and seconds. We talk about transitions, we're talking about tenths and quarters. When we talk about splits, we're talking about hundredths, right? It's a very small gain that takes a lot of work, right? Because you have to react so quickly. Is that worth it to you? You have to decide, right? But let's stack those priorities. First the draw, then the transition, then those splits. Cool? All right, so the next one I'm gonna do, right? Hammer it, dry neckline, hammer it, should be well below 2 if I do everything right. Cool, 184. If we go back to the previous demo, what did I do right after that 15 split? I did a 35 transition. So if I wasn't able to control it, how in the world did I go from 15 and control it to a 35? What do you have to do? You have to train. You have to practice if it's worth it to you. Does that make sense to everybody? Cool, awesome. All right, so you guys know how to draw. You guys know how to do the pace and rhythms, okay? You guys are going to go, everybody has 2 magazines left? Yes, 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 cool. You're gonna go through 2 magazines, right? That should, for most magazine capacity, you should get at least 5 or 6 reps on this one, okay? I'm gonna hit the shot timer once. You're gonna go through 2 mags of the 3 and 2, right? Change up the modulations, decide what modulation you're going to do before you shoot, because when does aiming begin? In the holster. Cool? This is your self-exploration time, okay? Cool, awesome. Let's get it. Good job. Whoever is leading at any individual time gets to hold the Jedi's chalice, all right? The chalice is brought to you by Vulcan Machine Works here in Plano, okay? If I hand this to you, all right, please remember your time because I'll probably forget it. Okay, 1 high, 1 low, 247, add 10 is 257. Cool. Clean run, 330, add 10 is 340. All right, 1 a little high and 252. Okay, we got 1 high, 1 low, 245. Okay, we got 1 left, 1 a little low, 294. Clean, 238. Beat the class standard. Well done. Clean, 181. Hell yes. Is that a PR?
It is.
It is a PR.
193 the last class.
Hell yeah, 181. You guys are cooked. Downrange.
Can we get overlay, please? Come on.
What was your time though, Doc?
183.
Oh, they're both 183. All right, hold on. Yep, that's good. So 183. All right, so you guys are tied, which means you have to hold it at the same time. Clean, 207. Well done, sir. Well done. Clean run, 262. One a little low in 367. Good job, Doc. One a little high, 216. So the way you're going to get below 2, your draw is fast as you just go too late. You got to go on the
go to what?
late. You don't start moving until the beep is done. The beep is 0.3 seconds.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So if you go on the B of the beep, not the P of the beep, you're going to pick up 0.2 right there. Okay?
Class is pretty sick so far. Scott has been laying on the biblical wisdom since we got here. It's really cool just listening to his why, his reasoning behind things, which I think so many other instructors are missing. I am definitely learning a ton. I've already taken his class once, and I'm learning just that much more this time around. So it's pretty good. Like it.
What we're going to do is we're going to run a USPSA like rules, but with time plus scoring, okay? Now, what is time plus scoring? In IDPA, it's very similar here, but they use a 4-inch circle and an 8-inch circle. They call this and that, it's down 0, okay? -0. All right, cool. For here, if you hit a Charlie and don't make it up, it's plus 0.2 seconds, okay? If you hit a Delta and don't make it up, it's plus 0.4, and a Mike, a miss if you don't make it up, is plus 2 seconds, okay? Because Mikes are unacceptable for the most part, okay? Got it? I'm gonna walk through, I'm gonna tell you what the stage comprises of. I'm not gonna give you any strategy in the beginning, except for this, okay? If you go down 0, down 0.2, and then you give me another down 0, it's down 0. I take your best 2, okay? But if I go Alpha, Charlie, Alpha, Alpha, should I come back and make up this Charlie? Why not? Because I can't do it in less than 0.2 seconds. What if I went Alpha, Delta, and then, saw the Delta and came back and make it up? Should I remake that up? If I can do it in less than 0.4. Alpha, Mike, Alpha, Alpha. Should I come back and make up the Mike?
Yes.
If you can do it in less than? Good. And holster. 603. And holster. 474. Stop moving and holster. Good job. 521. Clean. And holster. Hell yeah. 569. Woo! 406. Holster. 419. Clean. All right, so 339. And holster. 436. And holster. 348. So guys, I'm going to walk this, all right? If I do it correctly, I should get good hits walking it. Low 4s. Low 4s, okay? Let's do it. Oh, fuck. All clean? All right, cool. So let's talk about some efficiencies that I did, right, that maybe you guys didn't do, right? So the first thing is, which target did I shoot first? The left target. Shot the left target first, right? Because then I go to the right, okay? Why? Because the transition from here to here is smaller than transition from here to here, right? And if you don't think that that matters, right? Somebody won a 3 and 2 drill by, what was the difference? 0.1? 0.01. Don't tell me that doesn't matter, okay? Cool, awesome, right? Which foot did I have on the stick? Left, why? For me, and this is more personal preference, right? See how wide I started, right? Ba-bop, ba-bop, 1 step back, When I make the other step, that's 2 and I'm already over here. For me, if I do this, right, it winds up being 1, 2, and then I'm all cockeyed. I'm on the tightrope, right? So that's why I started. Also, where are my hips facing? To the target that I shot, okay? A lot of you guys did this. See that twist? No twisting. Less effort means more efficiency. Does that make sense? Which target did I shoot over here first? That one. Why? It's the first one that I saw. Then when I transitioned here, did I cross my feet? 100% I cross my feet, okay? Let me tell you why doing it the classic way of the way that you were taught, right, is if I'm going that direction, I need my hips in that direction, then you twist your torso like this. Watch what happens. So my targets, right, are these 3 guys right here. Watch what happens when I do that. Watch my air gun. See all that bouncing? That's because my hips are trying to pull my torso back over here. So I gotta fight it. On the other hand, if I face my target, and guys, I'm not completely crossing my feet. Here's what I'm doing, right? This back leg, the leg closest to where I'm going, does most of the work. The front leg goes in front of the foot. Like that. The more your torso is faced toward the target, the less the gun moves. The less the gun moves, the less the dot moves, the more accurate it will be. So it looks like this. Did my air gun move at all? Was that faster than what I did before? Yes, okay? Stand by. Yes, holster. 328. And holster. 348. And holster. 376. Clean. Hell yeah, Mike. So what did Mike do? He used his advantage in taking a long step. He just said, whoop. Nice, holster up. 479. Oh yeah, holster. 524. Was that fun, guys? Cool, awesome. Remember I said at the beginning of the class, you can fool yourself, right? You can try not to compete and fool yourself. You will never be the best shooter you can potentially be unless you compete, okay? Now, do you need to be the absolute best shooter you can possibly be? That's a question you need to ask yourself. That's a question you need to ask yourself, right? If the answer is no, and you just like doing your tactical self-defense classes, right? You like do, and force on fire, man, you knock yourself out. But don't think you're gonna be better because you're just as good because you don't compete. Does that make sense, guys? Go give it a try. It's not for everybody. It's not for everybody, but man, you will learn a lot because it's data you can't escape.
Scott said earlier, you'll never be the best shooter you can potentially be unless you compete. How does that make you feel?
I know it's gonna happen, okay? I know it's going to happen. It's just inevitable. I've been thinking about this for months now. I know it's going to happen. So it's just a matter of doing it at this point. But, if you guys don't know, I'm trying to become an instructor as well. So I'm trying to get to the point of efficiency where I feel confident teaching, newer shooters. And that's just where I'm at. So there's so many things I want to accomplish, and I'm working my way there. And I feel so much better skill level wise after taking this seminar. So anyways, competition to come probably soon. Anywho, thank you, Gritter Texas and friends, those of you guys who follow me as well. Thank you for following along on the journey. It's been an awesome journey. I hope to continue to maybe educate you guys along the way as I learn. So thanks for joining, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.